International embarrassment for Canadians everywhere. The Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is deciding to square off with the incoming president, Donald J. Trump. The result? They're laughing at us. Ladies and gents, welcome back. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard of the Trump tariffs. The threat of 25% tariffs on all Canadian goods going into the United States. And the caveat for this is fix your border. Fix the border, fix the influx and inflow of things, bad stuff and bad people going through this porous border. Now, it wouldn't be that hard to fix that, but it would for someone with an ego the size of Justin Trudeau's. Now, he's gone all around Canada talking to the premiers, apparently, of how he's going to take a hard approach and a Canada first approach. First time ever, apparently, Canada first approach from this guy. But he put it out on X. We just spoke with premiers about the Canada-U.S. relationship. Team Canada is working together to defend what matters most to Canadians: good jobs, a secure border, and a strong partnership with the United States. And he's going to do that by threatening the United States. I don't know how this is going to work out in his favor. I replied to this one saying, you should be talking to the guy who's going to be taking your job next year. Start the transition early. That would help us out a lot. But what are we seeing on Fox News? They're laughing at us. This is the reality of the situation. CBC Watcher, now turned into Fox News Watcher, and other news agencies posting this one on X. This is just incredible, the show that we're seeing unfold.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tried to hit back at President-elect Trump, but instead he managed to insult you, all of you Americans out there. You may remember at a recent meeting, Trump reportedly suggested to Trudeau that Canada become the 51st state if the country couldn't handle his border tariffs. Trump then doubled down on the jab, labeling the Prime Minister the, quote, governor of Canada. Here's Trudeau's attempt at a counterpunch.
So they show a shorter clip. I'll show you the longer clip of what Trudeau had to say here. This is Trudeau talking about, essentially talking about democracy. He's supposed to be this champion of democracy. But this is his view on when things don't go exactly his way in a foreign country, by the way, not his own country, not his decision.
No, it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me and in my government. No, it should.
Of course, he's not stepping down for a woman in this country. No. But this is what they're showing this clip on Fox News because this is his retort to Donald Trump and what he's been saying.
Well, he seems very proud of himself right there. I mean, Kennedy, could a counterpunch get any lamer?
No, I watched that and I went, wow, Justine Trudeau. What
Governor of the Year.
What brand of tampons do you use? I'm
my
such a
goodness.
proud feminist.
Ask Tim Walz.
Like, my goodness. Ooh, I'm trembling with fear. Please don't invade us with your soy boyness.
Unreal.
Okay,
and this
so
is
the
the reality of
Canadian
it. This is the reality of it. We're a laughing stock. We're a joke here in Canada. Now, this is serious. We have prominent, famous Canadians talking about this. God Saad saying there are no words, no sentiment, no verbal cues, no telepathic communications that could capture the extent to which this individual is grotesque. He's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And even Elon Musk chiming in on this one, saying he's such an insufferable tool. won't be in power much longer. And that's the reality of the situation. In fact, Canadians, and it's crazy, even Naya Fannerstill posting this on X saying, I can't even comprehend how this is even possible, why this many people are still voting Liberal. And this, of course, if you can see here, not a lot of them are. We're going conservative in the next election whenever that does happen. But she does count out who are the potential voters. These are the people probably still voting Liberal. 85 votes from the Canadian Senate, 400,000 votes from Canadian federal employees, ones that want to keep their job, even though we can't afford them. 28,800 known bad guys, a word I can't say on this platform. 73,000 criminals facing multiple charges. Yeah, that's right. Trudeau hoping to keep those people out of jail. We're all hoping to make sure that they get locked up and get off of our streets. We all know what's been happening with that and what's been happening with these 94, I can't even say that word, people who think oddly about children. Let's just throw that one out there like that. Now, this is just ridiculous, the response. It's not the response from the Canadian people, what's been happening, but this is the response from our stupid government. I mean, how else can you say this? Mark Nixon pointing this one out. Canada is going to retaliate against Trump's potential tariffs. Are we run by a bunch of morons? I'd like to leave that one up to you guys in the comments down below.
For their active and effective outreach work, we are taking a Team Canada approach. A number of premiers spoke out strongly in favor of a robust Canadian response to unjustified tariffs.
Sorry, 1 second. Unjustified? He gave the justification for it in his statement. It's about the border, the porous border that we have with the United States. One of the longest, if not the longest border between two countries in the world. Yes, it is justification. But what are we going to do? We're going to put tariffs. We're going to retaliate by putting tariffs on particular items from the U.S. Is that going to help us? No. Is that going to help them?
Some premiers proactively identified products that their provinces produce and export to the United States, and which the U.S. relies on, and which should be considered as part of the Canadian response. This included some critical minerals and metals. We are taking a Team Canada approach. We know that this is a moment when Canada needs to be strong, smart, and united. And we know that when Canada is strong, smart, and united, when we play as a team, we can be effective and we will win.
Nobody's on their team. This is the reality of the situation. Canadians are saying, just fix the border and we won't have to deal with any tariffs. How about that? Instead of making this new trade war. Now, this isn't just, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. No, this is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also saying this. Brett Sears pointing this one out on X. Just listen to his own words.
President-elect Trump got elected on a commitment to make life better and more affordable for Americans. And I think people south of the border are beginning to wake up to the reality that tariffs on everything from Canada would make life a lot more expensive for Americans.
So fix the border. It'll make things more expensive for Canadians too. This is it's the idea here, and this is where Trudeau, maybe he's out to lunch, maybe he's thinking a different way. The best thing I can think is he thinks that maybe this is some sort of trade protectionism. No, it's a sanction on the Prime Minister of Canada. It's a sanction on the Prime Minister of Canada and what he's been doing, and who gets to feel the heat from that? Canadians. That's the reality. But let him say his piece.
So that's part of the argument. The other part is we will, of course, as we did 8 years ago, respond to unfair tariffs in a number of ways. And we're still looking at the right ways to respond. But our responses to the unfair steel and aluminum tariffs were what ended up lifting those tariffs last time. It wasn't that Americans were paying more for their steel and aluminum, although that was annoying to some people in the States. It was the fact that we put tariffs on bourbon and Harley Davidsons and playing cards and Heinz ketchup and cherries and a number of other things that were very carefully targeted because they were politically impactful to the president's party and colleagues.
Again, he's mistaking this for some partisan crony thing. He thinks that he's going to attack Trump and his friends, and that's going to make anything. It's a blanket tariff on all Canadian goods. It's an economic sanction against this guy. This retaliation isn't going to work. What we need to do is focus on what even the Canada Border Union head says. This from the Global News. We don't even know what comes into Canada by rail, Border Union head says. Canada's Border Service Agency has no infrastructure in place to search trains for bad stuff and bad people and other goods crossing illegally into the country by rail, the head of Border Agents Union says, a security gap that adds more concerns of an overall lack of enforcement at the border. This is the reality of the situation in Canada. And again, the threats that Trudeau and his cronies are throwing at the United States are laughable to Americans. And this is why we've become an international embarrassment, especially with this new round of things to be embarrassed about. I mean, it used to be just Justin Trudeau was embarrassing because he looked stupid. He would go and dance in places. Now we're embarrassed because of the actual policy. This is outrageous. It's unbelievable, but this is where we're at in Canada. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. We're going to be talking about this more tonight in the live stream, so tune in at 6:30 Pacific time. That's 9:30 Eastern. We'll be live. Make sure you hit that notification bell. It'll let you know. It'll give you a reminder when that happens. We'll see you tonight. Keep on trucking.